You're now listening to the 11:30 podcast. Enjoy the show.
Nasty, hateful, insane nation that exists.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Y'all already know what it is. Welcome back, everyone, to the 11:30 podcast. What's goody, everybody doing out there? Another Wednesday. It's Wednesday, man. For real, I'm excited. It's not 7:30, it's 11:30. It's time for the podcast, man. Appreciate everyone joining me. For those who are on the Spotify side that's listening to me, and for everyone who came back here on YouTube, man. For real, if you're new to the show, if you haven't done so on Spotify and on YouTube, definitely hit that subscribe button. Follow the 11:30 podcast and leave a 5-star rating. For real, man, it's gonna be a great one. Got a dope guest that's gonna be joining me here in just a bit. My guy Brian B. He's the host of the Beeline Entertainment web show that's on YouTube, man. Got great content, great energy. He's going to be joining me here in just a few. For real, man. Don't move. And also, before we get into the show, don't forget to follow the 11:30 podcast on all social media platforms. And one last thing, see this dope hoodie, man. Hit the link down below here on YouTube. If you want to stay warm, because I know it's getting chilly out there. And if you want some merch, man, get you a shirt, get you a hoodie, whatever you want, man. For real. Down below, bonfire.com/the 11:30 podcast. We ain't gonna waste no more time. We're gonna get into the podcast this week. My guy Brian B, what's going on with you, my guy?
What's goody, bro? What's goody? How's it going, man? Glad to be here. We was talking for a minute. We was like, yo, we ain't. I mean, I've been watching you since I started my show, and I'm like, yo, listen, I ain't been on the show yet. We gotta catch up over here. Yo, glad to be here, though, man.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the invite, coming on the podcast, man. How's everything? Like you just said, we've been, keeping up with each other and keeping up with each other content and stuff. So, how's everything? How like you?
Yo, man, everything's great, man. It's been going really well. Thanks for having me on once again. To the 11:30 podcast, people, what's good? It's me, Brian B. of the Beeline Entertainment, baby. I'm very excited. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've been seeing, Dre's on 11:30 podcast right when I was starting my show, and it was like he was kind of an inspiration. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of looking at different people who were actually doing it. He was one of the ones that were on YouTube I was seeing as well. And actually, I tried to start my show on. Tell me if you was familiar too, bro. You was trying to start on. I was starting on Facebook, and then I realized that Facebook kind of had like a time restriction and shit. Like when you was trying to put your video out, and then the time like kind of didn't allow you to put it all the way out or whatever. And that's why I jumped over to YouTube. I was gonna do it on Facebook for a minute.
Yeah, I see. I always tell a lot of people when you put it on Facebook, because I actually started out on YouTube, and I was just like, I always wanted to start like a show, a show, not necessarily like a podcast. I had in mind like entertainment show or whatever. But I initially, like I always say, I initially started out wanted to talk about wrestling because that's my passion. I love wrestling.
Yeah, man.
And not everybody rock with wrestling. So I was like, definitely doing another show would be great. And I started out putting it on YouTube, but I tell a lot of people, Facebook is cool. If you're doing like I was having a conversation, about networking with the whole software and stuff, doing a podcast and stuff. And if you're doing live streaming and stuff, if you're doing live streaming, like streaming off your YouTube channel, and let's say you want to have it on your Facebook or whatever like that, that's cool to get extra eyeballs on. But I say that's also giving it out for free, having it on Facebook. So I tell a lot of people, that's cool. That's real cool. It's accessible to everybody because everybody got Facebook on their phone. You really ain't got to do too much, with the YouTube side. So, but I'm all with it, man.
Yeah, man. And I mean, just like you just said too, kind of an interesting point. Like literally, you do want people to kind of, not trying to make it hard for y'all and shit, but you do kind of want people to be clicking them buttons, because when they clicking them buttons, that means you gain an interest. And if it is just available, it's just available. It's easy. It's easier to kind of switch that button, slide that screen up. So it is
Yeah.
kind of interesting. So I am happy that I kind of started off on YouTube and stuff like that. Kind of just naturally just drew me in there. But
Okay.
yeah, man. Just to kind of give you guys like a little bit of history, like Dre, he's familiar with me. But in case you guys aren't, my name is Brian B, and I host the Beeline Web Show on Tuesday nights, as well as the Beeline Entertainment on Thursday nights. I have two different shows. I'm literally trying to start a brand with this whole Beeline thing, something I never thought I was going to be doing, but it actually is just happening, and I'm very excited about it. The Beeline Entertainment LLC is what we're on and moving forward with next, and that's literally like just what it is, a brand. We're doing marketing and promotion for a lot of upcoming, whether it be a podcast, whether it be a music artist, or any kind of talent, really. Anybody who's looking to be heard and be seen, the Beeline Entertainment is where it's at. So whether you want to come on an entertainment show and show off, that's right. Yeah, so we host a lot of different things. We have people come on and sing their natural talents, cook. I've had a chef come on and cook on the show before. Just a lot of new ways that I'm trying to get people seen, man. Hey Dre, I don't know about you, bro, but it's like when I started doing this, immediately, like I heard you say earlier, like you started this, you didn't really want it to be just a podcast. I have that same thing. That's why I was trying to determine if I wanted to make it the Beeline podcast. I didn't want it to be a podcast, man. I didn't want to be in that same kind of group. I didn't want that collection. I wanted to be a little different, and that's why I chose web show. What the fuck is a web show? What is it? It's a show on the web, right? Like that's about all I thought of it. But I didn't want to. I wanted the people to see mine, and even if you think it's a podcast, it's not classified as one. So you still kind of got that question. Well, what is it? Is it this? Is it that? Whatever. I don't know what it is, but only thing I know is that I wanted to try to stand out, and that was like my biggest thing for why I didn't just kind of conform in that way. But I was just trying to do something different. But my show started off as pretty much just let's talk about stuff. I just wanted to get on and just talk, say my opinion of whatever. The Beeline, ain't no gang shit. I've been hearing that a little bit lately. I guess I'm getting a little popular because I've been hearing that, and there ain't no gang shit. I know the colors just kind of worked out to what they were, but literally the Beeline is I started this 10 years ago. And I just never did anything with it. And it was always basically the premise is straight to the point, the beeline, make a beeline straightforward. And I just wanted to say what I felt about stuff, man, not formulated, not like sugar coated. I wanted to just come direct with my feelings on whatever I was speaking on. I didn't want it to be, interpreted any way different. I wanted it to be direct, blunt, whatever, straightforward. And that's where the idea for the show's name came about. And then I started with just that kind of mentality, but I started quickly to kind of like, see things different, whether it be small businesses, whether it be just different people who were trying to do something like I was trying to do something. And I think from there, it kind of just grew into what it's kind of becoming now. And 3 years later, you know what I mean? Like I'm very, very happy, but also very surprised that like it is where it is now, man. It's been very, very interesting journey so far.
I always wanted to do this, but I just didn't know how. I
Yeah,
didn't know how, and I was sitting on this for a while. I was sitting on it for a while, and I'm just like, uh, I don't know. I just don't know. And grew up. I was a shy person, but
got it.
why you think you was able to do this show, and you was just like it's so surprising to you?
Why did it sit right? Yeah, I mean, literally, I never thought about it when it did because I literally started it because I just wanted to do something different, man. I just wanted to have something that was mine. And it was around the time where people were Facebook and Twitter. Twitter was kind of really jumping off with people posting what they were doing, and it was still those conversations that were going on. It wasn't as like common as it is today. It was still the beginning stages of like, oh, why do you always have to post everywhere you are and this and that and that and that. Back in like this is like 2010, like fucking 12 years ago at this point. But I kind of wanted to do something, and what I was doing was I started putting in like quotes that I was just making up stuff to say or whatever, and whether it be silly or whether it would be like I thought inspirational, motivational, whatever. And I was just doing that for a while. I was doing that on Facebook and Twitter. It was called LSE. It was called Little Something for Your Ear, and that's where I was kind of putting it in. And I was starting it off with that, and I was like, literally from there, I was like, man, I might as well just like try to start a show, just get on, record myself talking about some stuff, and then do. I took one picture with me and some damn glasses and put it on Facebook and put the name, the Beeline, and I had that shit up there for 10 years. 10 years, no bullshit. I had that one page,
Wow.
never another picture, never anything. I made it. It's probably still up there. I made it and I didn't touch it. And then, push come to shove, whole life changed, a lot of life change. I moved. I went from Jersey to Georgia, had a kid, a lot of life changed. And then COVID hit in 2020. And I was working when COVID hit. I wasn't one of the lucky ones who was able to stay home or whatever. I was working. I was out. I was making deliveries and stuff like that. And I was working probably harder because, we were the essential worker, essentials. Make it seem important and shit. But listen, I was out there working, slaving away. And I came home one day and I was like, listen, we can't really go nowhere. We ain't nothing going on. Yo, I'm going to start doing this. And my girl who was with me, she actually did it with me. IT Tiff. She comes on the show, does it with me every now and then. She was really supportive. She wanted me to really chase after it. And I just picked up a camera and started it, bro. Like you said, it wasn't really that I was not knowing how to do it, because I just figured I was just going to pick up a camera and do it. But I just think I had a lot of other stuff. I wasn't ready to do it. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, I just wasn't, even though I knew I wanted to, I wasn't ready to make the commitment. And that shit is important too. Like, but when I've committed to this, I made sure that I knew I was committing it to. I had an introduction episode where I sat with my brother and literally said, like, hey, I want 1,000 episodes. I want 1 million. Like, if that's what happens, I've had some fallbacks where I think I should be a lot further than what I am at this point for as long as I've been doing it. But I haven't stopped. And now it's like, it's just turning into something different, man. Never knew it would have been turning into what it is now.
Hey man, I'm getting the same reaction. Like, if you tell me 5 years ago, 4 years ago, or 3 years ago, before I even start that, I would talk to so many different people from around the world, or have a podcast with a former WWE superstar, or just just be inspirational to so many people, because that'd be the first thing people say. I mean, not even just because I'm in a wheelchair. I don't even necessarily look at. I just be like. I call myself Dre on Wheels because people call me Wheels. I'll be flying down the street and my name DeAndre, so Dre on Wheels. That was just it. So it just stuck together. And another thing you were saying, about the podcast, like, I wanted it to be a show, but podcast blew up. Like, I didn't even know what a podcast was. So I was just like, well, I can call it like the 11:30 show, but I don't know if they got a good ring to it, to like, the 11:30 podcast, but man, you just got to keep going, and you just never know where things will lead you, especially if you got support and stuff. So like you said, with your woman and stuff, you gotta keep going with it.
That was a very deciding factor too. Like you said, man, having support, man. It was a lot of challenges, like, getting into this, man. I know you had to go through the similar shit, man. It's like, I had different ideas for, like, when I started this, and I don't want your whole show to be just like what I did. I'm still not used to talking about myself, just me and shit.
Hey, that's cool.
But I had a lot of ideas and stuff like that about, like, what I wanted to do when I first started doing this. And one thing I learned off the bat was, listen, you're not going to be able to do everything you want to do successfully when you're dealing with other people. I don't. For some people, really can. Some people have co-hosts and different people and this and that. But even the people that I'm no shade against anybody either. It was just like, shit doesn't always line up, man. Things pop up, life happens, it doesn't stop. And that's a lot of shit that I was experiencing. And it was kind of discouraging at certain times, but at the same time, it kind of forced me to become at least forced me to understand, like, no matter what, I'm gonna have to do this, and I'm gonna have to figure out. I've done a lot of episodes on my own where it was difficult at first because I didn't think they were going to be interesting, and some of them turned out to have bigger turnouts than when I did with other people. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just the fact of being comfortable with speaking. Like you said, one thing I've never had an issue with is I've never been uncomfortable, shy. I'm
I
shit.
could
I don't
tell.
care.
I could tell.
Never like
I could...
that's been one thing where it's like that shit right there has been the easiest. It's like I'm talking, it is what it is, or whatever. Yo, to be real with you, you wanna know some crazy shit? Here's some things that you might not know about. I never even knew you were in a wheelchair, bro. Never even knew until like I think yeah, it was never even like I didn't correlate the name. All the times that I was seeing you in different shows, I never noticed it. So I didn't really even knew that was like something that you had or whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean, yo, shit, you make me feel bad now. I'm like, this guy, he's destroying. Ain't nothing, let nothing hold him back. Babies, everything. But yes, for real, bro, you're definitely an inspiration, man. So just so you know, like I was saying it just off the strength of, I just thought you was a dude, nothing holding him back, doing what he was doing. But you got your own stuff that you face and stuff like that. So much power to you, bro. Much power to you.
I
But
appreciate
yeah,
it.
it's very comforting, like to kind of personally kind of like accept who you are and just not let nothing stop you from doing what you're trying to do, man. And I had a lot of things
Yeah.
that really tested me because I really
Yeah.
sometimes I was like, damn, I really wanted this to happen. It's not happening. I was trying to force it to happen. That shit wasn't working. But then it just
Talk,
made
talk,
me care
talk
about
about
myself.
yeah, talk about that because man, I was a person that like I was just saying. I remember one time, some years ago when I used to work at the movie theater here in DC, and I was at I used to sell tickets,
Yeah.
so I was behind like a booth or whatever, and a lot of people wouldn't even notice that I was in a wheelchair until I moved,
So you
until I
moved.
rolled over.
Fuck happened?
And it's just I had a problem with accepting myself or just being comfortable with myself. It really didn't start until I started podcasting,
Yeah.
and I said something to myself, and I just realized it one day. And it's the first time I'm actually saying it out loud because um and I also looked on the flip side and I was like, well, nobody cared. But nonetheless, I'm the type of person like if I'm at the store, I'm at the grocery store or whatever, and I'm next in line I'm next up and I'm at the cash register and boom, I got a couple of stuff that I'm about to pay for. And as soon as I pull out my wallet, I'm the type of person that will sort of rush to get out the way for the next
I
person
know right where you're going with
because
this. Yeah.
I feel like I'm the guy in the wheelchair taking forever. So it wasn't until someone told me more. So I didn't even I didn't catch on to it until the other day until someone said take your time. And I'm
Yeah.
guessing maybe it seems though I'm rushing, and in actuality I am because I'm the guy in front of the line that's holding everybody else up.
And I think
So
that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm not trying to cut you off, but I was kind of
no,
reading
I'm
into
listening.
what you were saying as you were saying it.
Hmm.
The wheelchair part kind of came in a little bit after that, from my thought at least. But I know exactly what you mean, man, because I can't understand it because I'm not in that situation. But what I can relate to is the part where it's like it's always that awkward kind of like moment where you're sitting here like, oh man, I don't want to be the one that's causing the
Yeah.
problem. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I don't want to be the
exactly.
one that's holding up the traffic or whatever. And you do get faced
Yeah.
with that a lot of times, especially I'm thinking of numbers of times where stuff like that's happened to me as well. And being in line is like one of the biggest one where maybe you wanted to ask an extra question, but you didn't want to be the one that's holding up, everybody else who's waiting. You know how annoying it is when you're waiting. So you're trying to be empathetic,
Mhm.
but at the same time, if you don't take it easy, if you don't take care of yourself in that time that's given to you, now you're missing out for other people. So it is kind of like this weird kind of like, balance that you really have to maintain to help yourself and others, because you can't just give up and say, I want to make sure everybody else is good, so let me get out the way, no matter what your
Yeah.
situation. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy, but it is relatable to like all different aspects of what we're doing, how to live. It's
Mm-hmm.
difficult, man. I go through that shit all the time. So that's why I knew exactly what you were talking about when you said that. Because I'll be in line and I'm like, damn, I want to ask about this TV that's back there. But I see it's like
Yeah.
4 people, man. I have to get one guy. He looked like he late for work already. I got him. But now I'm more like, all right, I'm still going to take care of me. But I'll make sure I do it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't want to take up too much time. But can you just ask that for me real quick? If it's real quick, you can't. All right, don't worry about it. If it can't be real quick, then but I'm gonna take time to make sure I at least try to push my shit forward, to make sure, but also be respectful to other people and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting, man.
I,
It's one of the things where it's like you have to take other people into consideration, but you can't lose yourself in that process. You can't
mm-hmm.
care about other people more than you care about yourself, man. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It has to go
I like that.
you first and then others, unless you got your family or something. But
Yeah.
that's
I
how I
got
feel,
you.
son.
Yeah, I dig it. I dig it, man. Great talk here. We have it here on the podcast, you guys. We're gonna move on here on the podcast. Your dad also, right?
Yeah, man. I got 3 kids, man. Listen. Probably why my brain is all clouded right now. We had a crazy morning. We had I just went to freaking we over here shopping and it's almost like the holidays and everything. So it's like everything is
Yeah.
crazy outside, man. We just
What?
trying to get stuff done fast.
Yeah. How is it for you? You got three. I just had my son in July, and he's 4 months. He's going on 4 months.
Oh,
So
congratulations, man! It
yeah,
damn seemed like you just had a baby. Like, not I remember seeing the pictures and stuff. You had the
yeah,
episode too about you being the dad and everything. Yeah, I mean, yes, it's a life changing situation, man. It's a life. This is your first. You said this is your first one, right?
yeah. First one.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I
Was
love it, man.
Yeah, I always ask, other guys too, because I got a show that's going to be coming up in a couple of weeks beyond 11:30. We're going to talk about, parenting and, relationship, everything, as far as that aspect going on. But,
Yeah.
you being a dad though, what's some challenging things uh that you may experience as being a dad, or that you might want to help in the hand to a new dad that may be coming up?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my story is real interesting, man, because uh, um, I mean, damn, I haven't told this story in a while, but one of the reasons that I left New Jersey from Jersey and now in Atlanta is because of my son. Like, that was my firstborn. I met his mom in New Jersey, and she was from New Jersey, but she her family lived in Atlanta. They were all from Jersey, and they moved to Atlanta when she was younger, and she had went back to Jersey to go to school, and she was living with her grandparents, and that's when I met her. And we kind of hit it off, and we kind of hit it off real quick, and she got pregnant. And it was fucking news to me. I was like 22 years old or something like that or whatever, and I was still wild, reckless, running around crazy. I was crazy. But when she got pregnant, man, like, I was always I always had a good family. I always had like family oriented family. So we were always around each other. So when I found out I was having a son, I was like, yo, there's no way that, I'm not going to be there. So I'm going to make sure I'm doing everything. So I'm not trying to say anything negative about anybody, but I'm just telling the story, being honest. So she was supposed to go back to Georgia to kind of visit her family because it was a surprise. It was her first kid as well. And she went back, and she was supposed to come back to Jersey, but she didn't. And from there, my life changed, yo. I literally changed everything. I was a manager at a supermarket that I was at for like 3 years. I was making pretty decent money. I had my own place, whole life in Jersey. Like, I was born and raised. I knew how to structure Jersey to do whatever the fuck I needed to do, honestly. But when she left, man, everything stopped. Like, I quit everything. I figured out how I was going to be to get to Georgia, and I quit my whole life, and I left Jersey. And it just so happened that where I was living at, the night that I came home, I think it was like 2 weeks prior, literally that soon, there was a drive-by shooting or something like that right across the street from my mother's house where I was staying. And my mother, when I came home that night, because I worked overnights, my mother told me, she was like, yeah, we're leaving, we're coming with you, because she didn't want to deal with it. I had two nieces at the time. They were small, and it was just too much where we were from. So we all fucking left, man, and packed all my stuff, and we all moved to Georgia. And from there, that's where I started like my life. It was a very difficult transition. I think, honestly, I really don't feel like the first 10 years of my son's life I had an easy transition, man. I was living place to place. I was really dealing with a lot of different things. But the one thing that I was always a dad. I was always there for my son, no matter what. I was at the school events. I was watching him, and something happened with his mom, and she actually passed away. So it's like now I'm a full time dad. So it's like it's just been a lot of stuff like that. But then I actually met my girlfriend that I have now, and we are the whole family unit. She had a daughter when we met that was the same age of my son, and they met at like 6 years old, and they're 11 now. So it's like it's just been a very, very big transition from like really rough to like amazing, because now it's like we have a new daughter, she's 4, and now it's like the whole family life, man. And I couldn't be happier, but it was a struggle,
Yeah.
man, for real.
Yeah, it definitely sound like that, man. It definitely sound like that. I was there all of that for you because I talk about this ever since I've been a dad, and a little bit before, because there's a lot of single moms out there and a lot of
Yeah,
dads that's not in the household, and it's not too many guys that you will run across of for them to be the full-time dad and them taking care of them. How was that for you?
yeah.
Being a full-time dad
I mean, it
by
was its
yourself.
own challenge. Yeah, it was definitely its own challenge, and I have nothing but respect for any single parent that's out there. Because I'll tell you right now,
Mm,
like people have this weird thing, man. And like I said, I'm not trying to hate on nobody. I'm not trying to talk about anybody. There's
hmm
certain parents out there who really try to take credit for being a single parent, and they're kind of a single parent because they choose to be, and that's just dead ass. There
Ooh.
was one, there was one fucking video that was out not that long ago, man, where it was like a dad was coming and he had bought his son like McDonald's, and he came to the baby mom's house and she
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
I can't
yeah,
give you this because my other kids.
yeah.
Listen, I might be like, the minority here or whatever, but she wasn't wrong. She wasn't wrong. Here's the thing though, that
Okay.
sucks. He wasn't wrong either. But this is
Okay.
the problem when you can't make things work for your for the benefit of the greater source or whatever, like this being the child. You have to be able to work shit out, not the way you want it to be, but the way it needs to be. That situation could have been
Mm,
handled with a calm conversation. I'm sorry to say it like it's so simple, but in reality, that situation could have been handled with a calm conversation. You have to be able to get out of your own way, each other's own way, so you guys can do the best for the kid. She could have let him go with the kid and eat the McDonald's with the dad and let the situation be simple. It's not his responsibility to take fucking charge of everybody else's kids. Oh, you knew I had kids. Whatever. You did it before, but now it doesn't matter. His child, he's trying to provide for his child. You don't know what he's going through financially. You don't know. He might be the richest person in the world. Maybe he just feels like this is his needs. He's got the right to feel that way. I feel like parents, being single parents, especially ones who can be co-parents, whatever, I feel like if you choose to make it difficult, that's a situation that you choosing to fucking do. That's simple. Some situations are, you can't work with the person or whatever, or for whatever reason. But I feel like when you just want the drama and you can't take 5 seconds to get out of your own, oh well, she's doing this the way I don't like it, or he's doing this the way I don't like. Listen, bro, everybody's gonna do things different from how you want it to be done. It's how it works. You guys couldn't work out together, so now you have to work out individually together. That's how fucking life is. And I had to go through that. I had to learn it. It was definitely something difficult to deal with. Trying to find people to watch my son when I was working. I was working a job with crazy hours. Luckily, I had my mom and my sister, and they were kind of helping me out a lot in like those periods and stuff like that. So my son was always well taken care of and everything like that. But it was a lot of challenges, man. So much respect to everybody out there busting their ass and trying hard to take care of their children, man, successfully,
yeah. Yeah,
successfully.
you're right. You're right. You're right. And like you said, work it out, man. And even when my fiance and me butt heads, I always say let's communicate and let's talk because we got to do it for the greater good. Not only just communicating just for us, but for him.
Yeah.
Everything is, is for him and stuff like that. So I definitely understand where you're coming from, man, because a
Yeah.
lot of people will sit up there and be like, you know what, I'm single and I'm raising this child by myself. Look at it, you like
For
you did it
real.
on your own, like you the reason why you're single. You want to do this
Yeah.
on your own. You
Yeah.
feel me?
You want
Like,
the
and
glory.
it's yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you want the glory, bro. There's a lot of yo. Listen. I'm being dead ass too, and that part right there. I
I
don't know.
know.
You might find a couple of guys that want the glory of being a single dad, but I'll tell you right now, I've heard a lot more about women who, even though they got a man that is willing to support, but you want shit your way. So and you also want everybody to look at you like, oh, I'm such a strong person. Look how I'm doing. I
Yeah.
don't need no man and all that bullshit. That's not fair to the kids. Like, you probably could do it all by yourself, but that's still not fair to the child that's trying to have both parents involved,
Hmm.
using the kids
Yeah.
as weapons and all that bullshit. It's definitely a conversation that I've had a couple times. We actually had a whole episode. Warren Marlowe. I know he's a friend of the show. He was on there
Yeah.
talking with me too. I know he went through some shit too, or whatever. But it's just like,
Hmm.
it's very difficult to deal with such an important matter when you have people, and it's not always just, oh well, you knew that before you laid down with her. Listen, people change, man. You can be with somebody, and just off of something that happened, somebody's completely different than what they were before. It's not always something you can see, or know that's going on in the future. Like, it's sometimes you just get caught blindsided, and this person is nowhere near what you thought they were going to be from the beginning of y'all relationship, and now it's unmanageable, and that's problematic. But yeah, you're not hurting anybody but the kids at the end of the day. You trying to hurt each
Yeah.
other, but you hurting the kids who are growing up, and they fucking 12 years old, and they got a lot of different issues because their parents could never just come together on some parental shit and deal with their situation. It's troublesome, man.
Yeah.
It's troublesome,
Yeah.
yo. I could talk about this shit all day, because I mean, this is like
It,
personal,
hey,
like
I'm
everything.
hey, I'm getting into it, man. And like you
Yeah,
just said, the women definitely would more so glorify because society now for a woman, they don't need a man. They could do
shit.
all by themselves. And then for the men, it's not, you don't see no men really, oh man, yeah, I'm a single parent. It's more so it was placed upon them, and the
Yeah,
situation it just, sort of happens though. So and you just gotta
yeah.
roll with the punches though. I got a couple of dad questions for you. One
Sure.
question that I asked myself previous on the podcast, though, but I got two questions that three questions altogether. I'm gonna ask for you. Okay, if I feel like I'm not doing for new dads out there, just want to make it clear. For new dads, what if they feel like they're not doing a good enough job? What would you tell them?
Think about what you're doing. Like, why are you having that kind of thought? Like, kind of like with anything. Like, why do you not feel like you're doing a good enough job? What's the reason? Can you pinpoint it? And if you think to yourself and you're saying, well, I just don't feel like I'm spending enough time. So now you got a question. Well, why do you think you're not spending enough time? It sucks to kind of ask a question with answer a question with a question. But I feel like, for me, I'm always trying to figure out, why the fuck am I saying this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's
Yeah.
making me think this way? Like, why am I? So if you feel like you're not doing something right, then you got to try to figure out why you feel that way or what's happening, because it could be something that you actively are doing that's not right. But if it's more of just a feeling because you feel like you should be doing something more or something better, then you got to figure that out so you can see what you can do. You know what I mean? I think, like I was saying before, I did feel like a lot of times where I was like, damn, I want to do more for my son. I want to be around my son more. I want to take him to more places and things like that. But I had to work. I had to do like different things. So I didn't have a lot of time. And that was one of the things that was the most frustrating. And at that time, I wasn't really sure of what I can do about it, because I knew that I had to make money, because if I didn't, I wouldn't have anything. But at the same time, now in my life, where I've kind of figured out how to get things done and work the way that I need it, I work from home, I'm starting the business, I'm making time that I probably could have made before, but I just didn't know how to do it. I didn't have the knowledge, I didn't have the understanding at that time. So it's like, you can figure out how to fix things if you just kind of understand what's going on. So you got to understand yourself before you just drown yourself in your sorrows and shit. What am I doing wrong? I don't feel like I'm doing right. Well, why don't you feel like you're doing right? I don't know. It's just nothing's going right. What do you mean nothing's going right? Is everything fucked up? What's good? You know what I'm saying? Like having a mirror talk with yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
Just understand.
Okay. I got you.
Most of the time, usually, I think people are harder on themselves than than what it really is. You know what I mean? Like if there's something going on and you know it, like you gonna question that shit right away. Like, oh man, I didn't get my kid yesterday. Like, oh shit, I didn't give him a bath in like a week. Oh, yeah, man, you better you're not doing your job. Huh?
Okay. All right. Is it okay to feel scared? I want to say, because I felt like this at the beginning. Because first time dad. I ain't know what to expect. So yeah. Is it okay to feel scared?
Yeah, I think it's always okay to be scared, man. I think that's your natural instinct of, preparing yourself, handling things correct way. Also knowing that something is important. When you're scared, it's important. When shit don't matter, when it doesn't matter to you, then nothing's important because you're just like, you can do whatever. Even if it is important, it's not important to you. So let me ask you, before you had, kids, were you an only child? Did you have, siblings?
Yeah. I had excuse me. I had two sisters. Well, from my mom, I had two sisters and one brother. I had another brother. Earlier this year, he got killed and stuff. But no, I wasn't the only. My mom had four. Yeah, no problem. Appreciate it. I four kids, and I was the third one though. So,
got you.
No.
Did they have like were you around like kids like even prior to you having a kid?
Yeah, I was. My sister, she had a kid first, and then my other sister had a kid. So I was around, and actually my sister lived with me for like 9 years. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, I think what it was though, in actuality, it was because I was in the wheelchair. That was more so,
Got
and
you.
I do it.
Oh,
I ain't seen,
you had different challenges.
I didn't see nobody, that I knew or that had a disability that I had take care of kid. It was always somebody that was like, oh, I got shot, or oh, I was in an accident, or they disability sort of came later on in life. You feel me?
Yeah.
I never, for me it was a little different. So that's where
that's
that
interesting.
came
Yeah,
from.
see, that's one of them. That's one of them situations where it's like you can ask a whole bunch of different people. Everybody got their own things going on, but in your case, it's definitely different. It's not anything that you can compare it to, because you had more of a situation where it's like you're different from other people, and it's not really a demographic for it that you can easily see. You got to kind of look for that. You know what I mean? So I can understand you questioning, like, hey, I'm kind of nervous because I have my own situation, and I'm not. I don't have a lot to look at to compare in for mine.
Yeah.
Us, just I'm trying not to say this in like a bad way, but I'm straight to the point, so it's hard for me to fucking.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good.
Shit, But I'm trying to say it, like, make sure I'm being respectful and everything, but it's like I can understand like how you can have that question. The reason why I was asking about the kids and stuff, because one of the things that I had in my life, I was always around kids, man. I was always, me and my cousins all grew up together. We were young. I had a god brother when I was like, 9 years old. We were helping changing his diapers. Then my sister, she had 3 girls. I was helping changing their diapers. So it's like I constantly was around kids my whole life, man. So it was easy to kind of transition. I wasn't nervous when I had my son. I changed his diaper sitting on a little, table when he first came out. My daughter too.
Yeah.
And it was just like, all right, yes, another one to keep alive. Like it wasn't that hard. I wasn't really scared. What I was scared of was, the situation that I faced to get to my son. That was my fear.
Okay.
So that's how you have different, it's different fears that you're gonna have when such a life-changing situation comes up, man. But that was like what I was scared of.
Gotcha. All right.
Definitely good to be scared. Definitely good to be scared.
Yes. Okay. How do I get sleep with a newborn?
Oh, listen, don't. Fucking stay up.
Hey,
Yo, you want to
yo.
know that starts? That's like a whole conversation right there. You know why it's like a whole conversation? The thing that sucks is like we can't get sleep. Yo, there's nothing that we can do. Listen, especially like my girl, she breastfed. So when we just had our daughter, Jordan's 4 in the baby. Jordan, I got it right here. See my baby right here. I try to make her like
Yeah.
a piece of the show. Baby dive doing fireworks and shit when she comes on the show. But it's like when she was born, my girl, she kind of went into like not depression, but she definitely was in her ways, bro. She wasn't feeling it, but she's very strong. And at times, like I'd wake up, rub her back, but I'd be sleeping, and I'd get up like, oh, baby, we gotta get the fuck out of here right now. I'm trying to do what I gotta do. I gotta work in the morning. Like she was lucky she was able to stay home and kind of do stuff. And I was trying to like be strong for everybody, but it's very difficult for us because we can't just sleep soundly knowing that she's up trying to breastfeed in the middle of the night. She's up because the baby's up. You want to wake up. You want to be the dad. You want to, help out as much as you can. But it's like in my situation, I was trying to go to work too. I was trying to I was the only one she was working at home. So she was able to at least be home. But I was the one who was like, having to go out and go to work and everything like that or whatever. So it was different because I had to drive and I would be out all times of day and everything. So I was still trying to get sleep. But yeah, man, it's hard. It's hard because the baby's going to determine the outcome of the house. And we had two, our kids were around like 9 at that time. So, we were getting some help from them as well, but they don't go away. Like you got to help with them too. So, yeah, I mean, if you can get sleep, like, you better just enjoy where you can get it. Like when you got a baby, they're demanding, man. You got to be on hand. You got to take care because you can't let other things fall either. So you kind of got to just you got to be strong, man. You got to be strong with that shit.
I got you. Look here, man. Brian B, I appreciate that. For real. Hey, yo, man, we having a good time, a dope time, fun time here on the 1130 podcast. We got more show coming up, man. I got Brian B. I'm going to put him in the hot seat. We got the WTF moment. We're going to keep talking it up here, man. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to be right back on the other side. Don't move. You're listening and you're watching to the 1130 podcast. You did.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Hateful, insane nation that ever existed.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
Podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.
Yo, we back here on the 1130 podcast. Appreciate everyone sticking with me throughout the quick break, man. For real, I got my guy Brian B, the host of the B-Line Entertainment Show, here chopping it up with me on the 1130 podcast show this week, man. Having a good time. We got Thanksgiving coming up this week, man. Excited, ready to eat some food, man.
All day. I eat all that shit. I'm taking it home. This is the first year. You wanna know what's crazy, bro? I started out last year. Listen, I'm the cook of my house. I cook. I can cook pretty good. I throw down. I watch the fucking cooking shows, and I can throw down in the kitchen. I definitely can eat. But I did something stupid last year, right? And I challenged my mother because my mother and my sister they big on telling me like, you ain't cooking, you can't cook. We don't fuck with Brian food. We ain't doing that. But I can throw it down. So I challenged my mother to a cook-off for Thanksgiving. and I was actually gonna do it, and I was gonna put her on the show and kind of show us having like the cook off, and we were gonna have like a taste battle and stuff like that or whatever. But unfortunately, I didn't kind of prepare for it, so I'm kind of bowing out. But don't ever challenge your mother, man, because you know your mother can throw down. So you better come
Yeah.
correct. You better come
Yeah, you
correct, yo.
better.
I think I would have,
Hey,
I would have surprised them though. I knew I wasn't gonna beat her, but I'm telling you right now, it was some
yeah.
shit where it's like I know I would have surprised her. Like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe he can. Like, I thought I was going to tell him, like, yo, I'm start talking about cooking. I'm a couple years away. I'm gonna take your title and
Yeah.
shit.
Hey, that's
For
what's up,
real.
man. Yeah, Thanksgiving coming up, man. Yeah, ready to throw down, man. Ready to throw down.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. This week, man, has been an interesting week. I knew to me from what chatting with you, you seemed like you were a Power Ranger fan. You know, when you were growing up, right?
Listen, bro. Oh man, he about to fuck me all up, man.
Man,
Oh man, I was
yeah, man.
so
Like
sad about that shit today, man.
telling you, that was my man, man. I'm telling you,
That was,
my
bro.
man, my
I thought
man.
I had got
Go.
hit with we had just lost Batman, bro. Kevin
Yes, yes.
I can't
Hmm.
never get his name right. Convey. We just lost him. And it's crazy because I grew up. I was telling my son. I tell my son all this stuff or whatever. Batman animated series. I'm pretty sure Batman animated series came on weekdays, and it came on right before. I think it was 4:30 because I know Power Rangers used to come on right after school, so it used to be like after 3 o'clock. I think Power Rangers came on at 4 o'clock. And I remember watching Power Rangers every damn day, man. Especially when it first came on, I was like kindergarten. I was getting
Hmm.
home and running to see Power Rangers. And then,
Yeah,
Batman animated series came on right after it. And just knowing, you know how it was when the Green Ranger came, bro. It was like a whole
man.
different ball game, yo. The
Yes,
Dragon Zord and
yes.
man, yo. I just
Especially
rewatched
when
it too.
especially when Tommy, had the evil spell cast on him, as the Green
Yeah.
Ranger.
That
I,
was the
I
whole
was like,
beginning. Yeah,
yo,
man. That shit was
it,
crazy, bro.
yeah, hearing about that was really sad. I remember when I was a little kid, I had a birthday, party, and the White Ranger, was like the theme of it, the Power
Yeah,
Ranger
yeah.
theme of it, man. Like that was it, man. Tommy was my
Yeah,
guy.
man. Yeah,
Tommy was my guy, man.
that shit hit hard, man. And it's one of the things where I was telling my girl whatever when I saw that today, like the only thing I could think of was like, damn, another one. It just seems
Yeah,
like recently it's been like left and right, man. Like there's been a lot of like deaths and stuff like that with a lot of different like celebrities and whether it be like
hmm
the takeoff situation and
yeah, that
even
was.
before that it's been just constant. Like people are dropping like flies, bro. But when he popped up, like it was literally like a shock because they were getting ready to like do like this whole like this thing or whatever. I don't know what it was. It was like a convention or if it was something, but I know it was a bunch of the older Power Rangers were coming together. Like the guy Billy Yost that played the Blue Ranger,
Yeah.
Walter Jones, I believe his name is, that played the Black Ranger. They were getting together and putting stuff together, and I kept seeing them in pictures with Jason David Frank, and it was a shock, man. It was a shock, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was actually sad about that shit, man. That's my
Yeah.
childhood right there. That's my
Yeah.
childhood, bro. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy, man.
Power Rangers was one of the main things that I watched growing up. And the next to that, obviously, was wrestling and stuff. But
Oh man, yeah.
a lot of people childhood favorites and people from the '90s are definitely passing away. We're a time that we got going on, you guys.
Yeah.
But you guys here on the podcast, it's time here on the podcast, man, for the WTF moment of the week. Okay, WTF moment of the week. Brian B, each and every week I always share WTF moment, something crazy you may seen, saw, or heard, or
Let's
whatever the
go.
case may be. I share my WTF moment. This story has been going around for about what, a week and a half or two. Well, this story has been going around for about a week and a half or so. Um, I don't know if you heard the story about the girl, Shaquella Robinson, who's
Yeah,
supposed to went
man.
on a trip with her so-called friends to
Yeah.
Mexico. She was a hair braider from North Carolina and stuff. and her jealous friends or whatever ensued on the trip. And the friends talk about they so-called alcohol poisoner, but when everything came to light, she was beaten and stuff, and some videos that got leaked on social media and stuff. Uh, you said you saw that. Ooh, I was going to ask you what's your thoughts on it, and also your I'm trying to find the right word because um everybody ain't your friend. Everybody ain't your friend,
That sums it
and
up.
it's some jealous people.
Yeah, yeah, that sums it up, man. Unfortunately, that's really what it is. I think people really need to stop. I mean, it sucks to say it because I don't know the situation, but I'm just gonna put it out there like I know it, like this. You really got to be careful who you fucking spending time with,
She
yo.
was a very humble spirit, just very sweet girl.
Shanquella Robinson's coffin brought into the church by a horse-drawn carriage. Her celebration of life services bringing out hundreds of people. Loved ones wore pink in her honor. Danny Griffin, a family friend, says she'll always be remembered as a kind soul and daddy's little girl.
Sometimes her daughter just don't do wrong in front of her father's eyes and everything, and she was the twinkle of his eye.
Robinson's death remains a mystery after a trip with friends in Cabo last month, but her death captured the hearts of communities beyond the Queen City.
It means a lot to see Charlotte supporting her and her family. I have a daughter. I have nieces. That child was amongst friends, and she should have been able to feel comfortable and feel safe. This shouldn't have happened.
Robinson's neighbor and stylist, Lavaris Smith, styled her hair for the trip and says he's heartbroken.
She was just excited about going on her trip. And she sat in my chair. We just talked about a lot of personal stuff. Like, we just clicked like she was like my little sister.
Well-known activist Tamika D. Mallory says she stands in solidarity with the Robinsons.
Losing a loved one in the heinous way in which has happened to Shanquella, there probably will never be peace for them. But there cannot just be an unopened situation. It has to be closed with truth, and it has to be that there is accountability for those who are responsible for her death.
Griffin says this is a tough loss, and he is leaning to his faith.
Everybody that have children, either it's a son or a father or a daughter or anything, it make you want to just get down on your knees and pray for this family and then pray for the protection over your own children.
You really have to stop opening your circle to so many different people. Now, there are those, rare occasions where it is the ones who are really close to you and they're setting you up and doing all this shit. But don't travel. Don't put yourself in around people who, just because you hang out with them and party sometimes, now you over there traveling and going all these different places with them and shit like that or whatever. It might be fun, but man, you have to have trustworthy people involved in your life, man. You can't open yourself up to too many different fucking people, bro, because you don't know what people's true intention are. Like you just said, think about it like this. This is kind of how I think about it too. Like, you know them really close friends that you got. You know them real close family members that you got.
Yeah.
You know how shit gets when you have a fight with them. You know how touchy it can be when you have a fight with your sister or your brother or whatever in a heartfelt, emotional situation. Hopefully it ain't never no craziness, but you know how it feels when you done with they ass. Just imagine somebody who ain't even half of that, much of love for you, you know what I'm saying, or love for them, and you hanging out with people that's not even like on the same kind of scale as somebody you really care about. Anything could fucking happen. I don't even know if that's the story, but only thing I know is you can't put yourself around everybody, bro. Traveling and doing different things, and nah, bro, fuck that. Nobody knows what happened. I mean, at least I guess that nobody really knows what happens right now or what's going to happen with that situation. But it sucks, man. You constantly got these stupid ass fucking alcohol poison. How is alcohol poisoning if you have bruises and then they say they found like shit on her neck and like a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, the autopsy came back with her, I think, a broken neck or something with her spine or something like that. So,
alcohol poisoning. How was that even like determined as a case at all?
I don't know. I think they said that because they all out partying and gathering and well, we gonna have some drinks, but I think that was so stupid to say because it wasn't no alcohol found in her system.
That's
so
crazy, bro.
it seemed like because the father came out and said something. It just seemed like it was just a diabolical plan that the people who had, or the girls or whatever, had against her. And for a guy to be holding the camera and this be
Yeah.
going on, and for him to be like, "Oh, you're not gonna fight back?" Like, come on,
Yeah.
come
You want to know? That's speaking into another situation too, because a lot of times, we do live in a world where it's, film first and
yeah.
help last, or help maybe.
Mm,
Like, it's not even always last. But in these situations, man, I don't know this situation. Like I said, I wasn't there. I can't fucking be there, but I can definitely give my opinion on it. Um, Shit probably was happening, and a lot of times things go too far, and people don't really. It's never like, you would think that people are smart enough to have this, whole routine and have this whole thought out plan and shit like that. 9 times out of 10, what it does happen, now it could be that, but 9 times out of 10, what happens is people go on some shit and then something happens, and then people go and they try to, no, I'm gonna get that bitch, I'm gonna do that, watch this and shit. And then something happens and it goes too far. And then once shit goes too far, sometimes you can come back from it, sometimes you can't. And in a situation where you do something and you wanted to do this and you get amped up, somebody's videotaping you in whatever situation, whatever happened, and then bam, now the next thing you know, that fucking girl ain't moving no more, or she was moving a little bit and now she's not moving and now she's gone. Or, for whatever happens. Because people are sitting there and they're allowing the instant fucking, video camera to hype them up, adrenaline them up, and then they sit there and they just continue because they just want that process. People are watching it, they're thinking it's funny. It's the same thing with a street fight. Same thing when you're hitting somebody and then people are gathered around, they watching it, you want to show off. But then when you hit that person and they fucking head bounces off the concrete and their brain rattles and they go into a fucking seizure and they have that fucking trauma, and then all of a sudden their heart starts overworking, trying to comprehend that or whatever, and bam, they fucking flatline. And now you in jail for life because you had a street fight and you were getting amped up because the crowd was around you. So it's a lot of different ways to look at it, with this whole videotape first shit. It's very difficult. It's very difficult for people to be compassionate because they're so busy trying to be fucking news reporters and be on the scene of the crime first. So yeah, it's challenging, man. It is challenging.
I like the way that was said, man. Oh man, crazy. WTF moment, you guys. WTF moment of the week, you guys. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on here on the podcast. What keeps you going, man? What keeps you inspired, man? What inspires Brian B?
I love this shit, man. I love talking to people. I love getting behind the mic. I'm an ex-singer, songwriter, all that shit or whatever. And I never really, saw it all the way through because I don't think that was my calling. I think this is my calling. I've always loved entertainment, man. I'm a fucking movie lover. I'm a, just like we're saying, nostalgia lover. This is just what I love, man. I don't want to do anything else. I want to, transition my life to justice if I can, if I can be successful in that way. But it's nothing like just being able to talk to people, man, and cool people at that. You know what I'm saying? Like, meeting people, just about what you just said, your WTF moment. Just literally, like, there's so much always going on. You want to at least try to be the voice of reason or the voice of understanding or just the voice, period. You know what I'm saying? To kind of give people, a different perspective or your perspective at least. And I love that. So probably my big mouth. And
I dig
that's
it.
my shit.
I dig it. I always ask my guests. Like I said, I always ask my guests because there's always something that's going on in the world, man. There's always something going on in the world, negative or positive. But with so much things, like I said, going on, we tend to kind of like go towards the negative, but not try to like focus on the positive and keep us uplifted and stuff like that. But you guys, the inspirational quote of the week, you guys. A year from now, you will wish you had started today. A year from now, you're gonna wish you started today, man. I'm telling you, we were talking about it. How you was talking about D-line and how you came up with some, and that was 10 years ago. And I was just sitting on a podcast, and the wall was my camera. I always tell the story. The wall was my camera, and I'll just sit there and just do my little thing, act like I'm a host or whatever. And fast forward all these years later, I'm doing this though. But also to say too, whatever you want to do, man, get to it. Get whatever you want to do, get to it, man. And and follow your goal, follow your dreams and what you got going on in life, man.
Great,
For real.
great advice, man. For real.
For real. You guys, man, we're gonna move on here on the podcast before we wrap it on up, man. It's time for the 11:30 podcast.
I love the effects. Loving
Hey,
it.
Brian. All right, it's time for the hot seat. I got 6 questions for you, and
Right,
we're gonna
cool.
roll with it. You ready? Okay.
Let's roll.
All right. Number 1. All right. What is the best excuse of being late if you heard one or used one?
Best excuse for being late. This is fucked up to say. All right, this is one that I've used. All right, I was actually this is a crazy story right here. Just a little bit. I used to work for Walgreens, and I kind of got in trouble one time, and I was doing some stuff at Walgreens I shouldn't have been doing, and they actually caught me. Now the day before, I actually called out of work, and I wasn't there, and I think the next day I came in, I was late. So this is some crazy shit. So I sat there and told the guy. He had came up to me like as soon as I got there, and he was like, "Oh, hey Brian, how you doing?" He was like real friendly and stuff like that. I was like, "Oh man, here we go. I'm about to get talked to or whatever." And I told the guy, I said, "Yeah, my bad, man. The reason why I'm late is because I had an STD." I was lying, but I figured. And listen here, yo, props to me because I thought of that shit on the fly. But I definitely told him that shit. I figured that was like the easiest way to not get questioned a lot, I guess, but also have a severe enough reason for, hey, that's why I was out yesterday. I'm sorry. Don't ask me shit about it. But it turns out what was even crazier than that was he didn't even care about that. Like they pulled me in the office and there was a fucking like an assets protection guy there, and I was like, oh fuck.
Oh man, it's like shit. We don't
They
care
had
about
me
that,
on
man.
camera. Yeah, I was hooking up my friends and shit. I was like,
oh man,
whatever. Yeah,
that's
that was mine.
Okay, if you could be the best in the world at something, what would it be?
Oh man. Damn, that's a thinker right there, man. Because you want to say like, you know, what you want to do and shit, right? But
yeah,
nah, I mean, you want to transition into that. If I could be the best in the world, it would have to be at something making money, man. Everything else, I love the journey with shit. So if I just had to jump quick, it would have to be like the best way to make money and stay home. Okay. That way I can have time to do other shit. Like, you know, the best way that I can make money and be home or whatever, you know, whatever that is. I can't even think of what it is. I wish I knew what it was. I'd try harder at it. But the best way to make money and stay home is you get more time with your family and more time at life at that. Like without having to give these companies your fucking whole lifetime, man. That's my biggest thing now.
I got you. Okay. Do you have any regrets? If so, what are they and why?
I don't. That's one thing I've talked about a bunch of different times. I don't have any regrets, yo. I really think that everything that happens kind of builds you into the person that you are. I can honestly say that even the things that I wish I didn't do, I'm glad that I did them because I don't think I'd be the person I am today if I didn't. I've never done anything that was like, you know, so bad to somebody or whatever that I wish I could take it back. That would be something. Like if I had to think of something like, oh man, at one time I did this or whatever. I had a very crazy fucking, upbringing, in my teens or whatever. I was pretty wild. And I did some things that I shouldn't have done, but I'm gonna be honest, man, I don't regret shit. I'm glad I went through all the stuff that I went through. It was a learning experience. It gave me the knowledge that I have today, and it made me into the person I am today. For the most part. Okay. So, yeah, not really.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Would you consider yourself a pessimist or optimist?
I'm a pessimist, man. Yo, listen, that glass is half full. Fill that bitch up. Fuck all that. Oh, we can do good enough shit. Nah, fill it up.
Yeah,
I'm a pessimist, bro. Listen, I try to be optimistic, but yo, I'm too busy. Like I'm straight to the point, bro. Fuck that, yo. Listen, it's a good point. These are going fast, yo. But what about you, though? What about you, honestly, yo? How you feel?
I'm a more so optimist at times, though. But like it. My fiance tell me, you tell it like it is. You straightforward. You blunt when it
Yo,
comes to certain stuff. It's like so.
it's just some things, man. It's like you want to look at the bright side for sure, for sure. But
Yes.
this is the shit that's hard, man. When you look at the bright side, this is how I kind of look at shit. And me and my girl, we debate about this shit all the time, especially because we got kids. So it was like we have to kind of debate about it. But when you are always that person that's like, oh, we'll do better next time. Oh, this is good enough. We'll just make do with these 3 slices of bread for 7 people. Nah, it's not though. You're just trying to
Yeah.
feel good about shit that sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, if you're always going to be complacent when shit is whatever, like, if you got to just deal with something, make the best of something, all right, cool. You just got to do it. But me, I'm more like, yo, listen, I'm trying to make sure that I don't have to be in a position where I have to just settle, like I just whatever with whatever I have. I'm definitely grateful for what I have, but if I can, I'm going to try to make shit happen. I'm not going to let my glass just be, here's your glass. All right, I'm thinking, all right, man, I'm not going to fill this motherfucker up, yo. Like the glass of water is always the easiest kind of like comparison because half full or half empty. It ain't full, so it's empty, motherfucker.
Okay.
my gas tank is on. Is it halfway full to full or halfway empty? It is halfway, and fill that bitch up because I got to drive, motherfucker.
Okay. All right. All right. What advice would you give to your children to stay determined?
I was actually just talking about this with my son in the car this morning. Um, find what you like, man. Learn what you like. I think that's the biggest thing. It's one of the things that I keep kind of transitioning back and understanding, like the reason why I'm doing this now. I just got done doing a show last night and I was speaking with somebody about how different decisions and stuff like that I made even as a kid came to make me understand what I was interested in now even. So like I'm always telling my son, I buy my son guitars. He's got a drum set. He's got a whole bunch of shit. I try to start a Twitch channel, J Flash. I try to start all this stuff with him. And he's 11 going on 12. He's kind of like in that transition mode. And my son's been through some shit that, a lot of people don't have to go through, until, later in life, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
it's like I'm that's even more of a reason why I'm trying to literally, help him learn himself and learn his character and stuff like that or whatever. But it's hard. So it's like, learn yourself. I think it's the biggest thing. I was just teaching them, like, see, know what you like, man. Know what you're interested in. Know what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Not you're a kid. You don't know everything, but I knew that I liked Batman and Power Rangers and shit. I knew that. And, at the same time, what did that mean? When you wanted to have a birthday party and mommy said, hey, what do you want to do? I want the White Ranger party. You knew that. You feel me? Like, that shit matters. It matters. It comes later. It builds up. You know what I'm saying? I know kids who they knew they like watching Jeopardy their whole life. And then all of a sudden, they grew up and now they on Jeopardy and shit, or they trying to be on Jeopardy. You got to start somewhere. Yo. And
I got
that's
you.
the biggest shit I tell my kids all the time.
I'm right along with that. Right along with that. Okay, last question. Do you think opposite genders can maintain a friendship without developing a love interest?
Depends on how they look.
Damn. Damn.
I'll be dead ass honest. And 9 times out of 10, it's because of the dude. Because at the same, you gonna fucking see Beyonce, and then be like, oh, we could be best friends and shit. I'm never gonna be attracted. Like we could be best friends, and so it kind of just depends if you guys have. I have girlfriends who I've been friends with for a long time, but just being honest, I mean, if there was an opening for something different, I'm definitely not saying I wouldn't try. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason for me not to try unless I was just unattracted to them. But if you're attracted to somebody, you it's going to always be there. You can pretend like it's not there, but you always got to ask yourself, I think, for that question, if the opportunity presented itself, would you not act on it? Like, and honestly, not just saying it because you just want to feel right on some shit. But if, you were best friends with, some girl or whatever that you've known since you were fucking 7 years old, And then all of a sudden one day something happened where it was like, damn, she came down the street and she had a fucking black dress on and some heels, and you were like, wow, I never saw Sandra in this light. And then all of a sudden now you questioning shit that you never had to question before. I think that's a challenging situation, man. I don't think that the answer is ever firmly yes, unless you've done it and then you were like, okay, well, we know we ain't going to get on that route again, but then it's still sexual because, you might not want to date, but maybe you want to be, close in another way. So I would say
Yeah.
no. I'm sorry to say it like that, but you can have friends, but let's be honest, if anything ever happened, it's much easier to kind of, talk to that person and be a little closer to them if the, opportunity presented itself.
All right. All right, you guys, man. Dope, dope, dope. Appreciate you, B-Line, for participating in the hot seat.
That
Before
was
we wrap
fun.
it up here, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Before we wrap it up here, you're a big wrestling fan. We are talking a little bit about The Rock's daughter and everything. And
Yeah.
also seeing you on my guy Warren Marlowe's show, chatting it up on wrestling, though. Do you keep up with everything that's going on, right? What's going
Yeah,
on
man.
now?
Pretty much, I've been a wrestling fan my whole life, bro. I love wrestling. I think wrestling right now is at one of its most exciting times that it's been in almost 20 years. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been in transitions, but literally, like Triple H stepped in, and and I don't care what nobody says. Everything fucking changed when Triple H took over and Vince McMahon kind of stepped down. It's been a different program for WWE, especially like
Yeah.
AEW is kind of going through its transition as well. But I don't think they're. I think AEW had an opening when they first came out because it was something different. Everybody was looking for something different because people were getting tired of the WWE. There was nothing different. So when AEW came and they were good too. I'm not taking anything away from them, but I
Yeah.
think now that WWE is kind of taking back that spotlight and they're like, wait a minute, we got to turn back on fucking SmackDown because between the Bloodline and Sami Zayn, and I mean,
Yeah.
there's not too much that's boring. And I mean, we're back to your mid
Mhm.
card divisions doing well, your tag divisions doing well, and your fucking main position is doing well. It's not
Ever
boring.
since and I didn't even think I would see the day that Vince McMahon will actually step down or just
Me
walk
neither.
away though. But ever since Triple H taken over,
Yeah,
everything has went into the next level. Yeah,
yeah,
AEW. I think that whole honeymoon phase, the oh
yeah,
man, this is good. That's over with though. Especially
yeah,
after the whole CM Punk issue, everything that went down at the beginning of September with CM Punk, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and
yeah.
just hearing about a lot of talent that's in AEW just not being used right, and et cetera, et cetera. So everybody was like, "Oh, I'm going over here, AEW." Now I ain't gonna be wrong. I was like one of the guys was like, "You know what, man? This all right." Because when I was
Yeah,
coming up, I didn't watch WCW. I mean, I've
I
heard it, I
did.
heard about it, I seen it, but I didn't watch it though. The most I don't say the most I've seen it though, but you remember Ready to Rumble? The movie
Yeah,
Ready to
yeah, yeah.
Rumble.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like that was my movie. Like I watch and I play more WCW games or anything than I actually watch the show.
You want to
So
know
I was
what? My bad, not to cut you off,
good.
the thing about Ready to Rumble came out in a time where that was later WCW because that was like
Yeah,
when like Goldberg was big, DDP was big. That
yeah,
was a little bit later on. I think Ready to Rumble came out in like 2000.
yeah, it did.
But literally, like when I was watching fucking WCW and I was watching WCW and I was watching WWF, I was watching both. But that was around the time where, like, I grew up watching Hulk Hogan. I grew up watching Macho Man. I was the Legends era. Like, that was my shit. I started watching WWF when I was young. I think my first match I ever saw was Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan, and I don't even remember what it was. It was just a match that was on TV. We used to watch WWF
Oh,
Superstars on Saturday. Like we used to watch fucking WWF, bro. Yokozuna and Lex
yeah,
Luthor and them dudes. And then it
yeah.
transitioned
That
into
was
like I was watching WCW NWO and like all that stuff was starting. But even before that, when it was just Hulk Hogan fighting Macho Man and stuff like that or whatever. But wrestling went through so many transitions, and I was always a fan like from the beginning. But
yeah.
like you said, man, once WCW kind of faded out and then they did the whole invasion storyline, Vince McMahon, or whoever, for whatever reasons, they fucking did that shit, crazy. And I don't think it ever was what it really should have been, was just a true we
Yeah.
WCW and we W, let's fucking go to war.
Yeah.
They did it
All those
all
guys.
goofy.
Yeah, all those guys like Goldberg, Sting,
Yeah.
Ric Flair, Nash, all those top guys sat
Yeah.
home for the next year or two. So they
Yeah.
didn't come in fresh in the invasion where you had The Rock, Stone Cold, everybody in WWF going up against WCW. We taking on all the mid carders and tag team champions. So it looking back at it is like, really? Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
They missed the
but
opportunity with that for sure.
yeah, and Triple H taking over, man. Like it to me, I feel like it's must see. I'm loving the bloodline.
Yeah.
I hope each and every day, everyone, y'all stay Uzi out there. You gotta stay
All
Uzi,
day.
man. If you're not staying
All day,
Uzi,
baby.
I don't know. I don't know what's up with you, man. My
Yeah.
fiance not
Yeah.
even a fan, man. But as soon as she was watching that, she definitely know what Uzi is, though. Like
It's
that
beautiful.
transcended right there. Yeah,
Let
it
me
really
ask you
is.
something.
Like,
This is why I need to come and talk to you on your wrestling show. This is one thing this is one thing I've been thinking about, right? We love it, right? We love it. We love the Sami Zayn stuff. It's funny, it's this and that or whatever.
yeah.
Now, this is where I'm starting to kind of seeing where something can start kind of being a little bit problematic. Sami Zayn is funny. He's even said openly, like, yo, one of my things that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to break, like, Solo Sikoa. I'm trying to break these guys on screen. And he's doing a very good job with Jey Uso.
Mm-hmm.
We got to remember,
Yes, he
bro,
is.
one of the biggest things with Jey Uso and Sami Zayn was their kind of heat between each other. Jey Uso became the fucking bulldog of the pit bull of the bloodline. He's like, I'm ready to go. I don't care what, I'm gonna get him. You know what I'm saying? He became this aggressive character, which I fucking love because it distinguished the Usos. Jimmy Uso is more mellow, but Jey Uso is rabid pitbull. So it's like now that Sami Zayn is doing the funny stuff, and it's funny, and yeah, we getting ha-has and shit like that. Is he kind of hurting the characters that have been established that's really fucking, built the Uso? Because how many times are we going to be able to see him always make, Jey Uso laugh? How much freedom is going to be allowed to always make it to where it's kind of like, ha ha ha, is joke, joke, joke. And we have to get serious again. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just been thoughts that I've been kind of having recently.
That's interesting though, because to me, just to me though, I don't necessarily see Sammy coming off as, yeah, he's been funny and yeah, it's coming out funny, the whole Uzi. And I don't even think, like, I don't even think he knew that was gonna be funny, but I mean,
Me
like,
neither.
you
I think
guys
that just
are
happened.
yeah, you guys are the
Yeah.
Usos, so I mean, like, I'm pretty sure you guys keep it Uzi or whatever, but I just think more so well, everything was, especially throughout the pandemic, trying to be this, I got this documentary. I'm trying to find the other word, and he was, trying to be this conservative. I don't know, but he was just going through a whole lot. I thought the documentary was going to come out, but it didn't. And then he's just like, okay, I'm not really going nowhere. So he's with the bloodline, but not more so trying to be funny, just trying to, I'm gonna leave their funny to our truth. Lead that to our truth. But
Yeah,
I think
our
he's
truth is
just
pretty funny.
I think Sammy's coming on. I was telling someone else this, like, the bloodline in itself, the whole story is literally what almost every guy or every other guy go through. Like, we not everybody got maybe 5 brothers, 4 brothers, or 3 brothers, but if you do, we got a brother. We all know, excuse me, that brother sometimes may get jealous when you going off to play with your friend or whatever,
Yeah.
And Sammy being the friend, and you got one of the other brothers, Jimmy. He's cool with Sammy,
Yeah.
Solo. He's cool with Sammy, but then you got this
Yeah.
one brother and Jay who's just, nah, man, you ain't part of the bloodline. You ain't family. You can't come up in here. So it's like, and then you got Sammy is just like, look at, man, I look at y'all my dogs. Y'all my
Yeah.
dogs.
Yeah. I
And
love it.
just,
I love it.
I do.
Yeah, I do
I
love
do.
it. I you know where I think, I mean, this is just my kind of thing. This is where I see it going, especially now that Kevin Owens just came back and joined the War Games shit. I think that they had to freeze kind of everything for the War Games. I think the part that's frozen, of course, for Survivor Series is they needed those War Games teams. So they have 5 on the bloodline, and then you have 5 who they fighting now. You got Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, the Brawling Brutes, and I think that's the whole team right there. But
yeah,
it's interesting. It's definitely going to be fun. Something different. You know, I personally wish it was going to be the fucking Survivor Series, but it is what it is. It's the War Games. All right, we'll check that out. But I definitely think that the people who dethrone Jimmy and Jay, everybody thinks talking about Sami Zayn going to take the belt from. Let me tell you something. That ain't going to fucking happen. Sami Zayn is not going to take that belt from Roman Reigns unless Triple H is fucking crazy.
Yeah, that ain't.
I think he's becoming a head face, good baby face. But I definitely don't think Sami Zayn is spotlight material. I'm sorry, I'm not no fucking hater, but I think go ahead, bro.
No. I don't think you're a hater at all, though. I think it makes logical sense. You know, within the story, he's becoming more, entertaining and getting a lot of reaction than Roman Reigns might do on certain nights. But it makes sense though. But no, we can't have Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns before we get The Rock versus Roman Reigns. Like I'm waiting on that one though. I know a lot of.
I feel different, man. I feel different. Listen, this is what I think. This is what I think for the fullest. I think Roman needs to lose that belt before he fights The Rock. I think
most definitely.
Yeah. Because I think Roman having that belt fighting The Rock is like the worst fucking thing possible. You can't have him lose it to The Rock. Even if you're gonna have him go over Rock, you can't have him go over Rock as champion. I personally think the person who needs hold on. Wait. I was gonna say with the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn shit, I think the person who's gonna dethrone Jimmy and Jay is gonna be Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I think that they're gonna team up for whatever reasons. I think the bloodline's gonna fucking turn on Sami, and I think it's gonna be inevitable. And they're gonna when they turn on him, I think they're gonna fuck him up bad. And I think that's where KO is gonna come back into it. And it could even be at Survivor Series. And then KO's going to come back into it, and that's going to set up their story. It ain't going to be no match more. That shit might be the main event when what's the name ain't even on the fucking show. Roman ain't even on the show. And I think Kev and Sammy going to take them belts from the Usos, yo. That's just my thing.
I would like that. I would like that, but I feel like this bloodline thing is good. So
I love it.
Let it milk out. We don't have no pay-per-views in December, and then we got the road to WrestleMania in January. We can go into that definitely because when Kevin Owens came out on SmackDown to kind of like, yo, I'm the 5th person. Sami Zayn was like, oh my god, OMG, like I know this dude, like he can play mind games in him, So I'm digging it. I love where we're going. Yo, Brian B, like I said, man, I can talk wrestling for days though, and I definitely got to get you on the wrestling podcast, man, for real. This was a great time chopping it up with you. Nah, always. Before you go, man, your show, The Beeline Entertainment. Tell them where they can get new episodes, man, where they can top it at and everything, and subscribe to.
Yeah, please, guys. Thank you guys so much for having me on and letting me talk my junk like I always do. But yo, if y'all want to check me out, I'm on Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time. I'm posting a new show every week. We have the Tuesday night is the Beeline Web Show. That's where we kind of just talk and we have collective talk like we're doing now. But the entertainment show is once again the place where you come on and show off. That's right, and that's where you can get the latest in talent, music, and rap, and a whole bunch of different places. I've been having a lot of really interesting guests come on lately, amazing talents come on lately, and I would love for you guys to see it. So that's going to be Thursday nights, 9 p.m. only on YouTube. I got links everywhere. You can follow me on Instagram at Brian B. Brian_B_B_line. I know it's a lot, but it's a little easier to say. But follow me all over, man. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. I'm every damn where. I'm loud. You can probably hear me from your house. But thank you guys so much. I love you guys, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. Man, for coming through here. Yo, everyone who's listening on Spotify and for everyone who's watching on YouTube, the links will be down below. And make sure you subscribe and get at my guy, Brian B. For real. This was dope time, man. Thank you for coming through here
Thank
on
you,
the
Dre.
11:30 podcast,
Yeah.
man. Anytime, you're welcome, man.
You
Type
come
of
on me
friends, man.
too. You gotta come
Hey,
over here
hey,
too, bro. I can't wait for it.
hey,
We gonna talk about some shit.
hey.
Yes,
We gonna link that up. We gonna link that
for
up.
real.
Brian B, sit tight, man. You guys, man, we're gonna wrap up the show. This was a great one, man, for real. Really great show. Oh man, great
You
show.
good?
I appreciate everyone tuning in this week here on the 11:30 podcast. Once again, a new episode of Talk Pro Wrestling is dropping this Saturday, you guys. Special episode this Saturday. This Saturday, 1 p.m. East. Actually, is I gotta come back with the date real quick. But if you follow me on social media, the new episode instead of Friday, it will be dropping this Saturday, you guys. So definitely tap in. And also, a new episode of Commission Talk is going down on Buzzing with Marlo. So tune in as myself, Eric the Joker. We're gonna be talking all things wrestling and other stuff, man. So definitely tune in once again. Blackheart, all the condolences go out to Blackheart. He lost his sister, so I hope you spend time, man, just at home, and just can't wait to have you back on the podcast and get well, my guy. For real, praise God to you. And me and the boys, man, these guys definitely gonna hold it down. But you guys, man, before I head on out of here, like I said, man, it's a great one. Before I go, you know what time it is. Don't forget to follow the 11:30 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow me on Twitter at the 11:30 podcast. Like the 11:30 podcast on Facebook. And if you haven't done so, this entire episode, once again, definitely hit the subscribe button down below. Like it, leave a comment, and share it, man, for real. And also follow me on TikTok at the 11:30 podcast, on Instagram at the 11:30 podcast _ man. Great show. Another one in the books, man. Also, the link is down in the bio here on YouTube. Get you a hoodie. I know it's cold out there. It's definitely cold here in DC, for real. So definitely get you a hoodie. Next week is the birthday episode. Well, my birthday episode, and also the birthday of the 11:30 podcast is next month, man. It's going down before I take a slight break, man, for the holidays and Christmas and stuff. But yo, I hope everyone enjoyed a Thanksgiving. Eat all the turkey, eat all the chicken, all the pie, all that, whatever, man. Crush it all up, man. For real. Because I know my fiance is gonna be throwing down, for real. Yo, another one in the books. I'm out of here, I ain't gonna keep rambling on with you guys, man. Yo, for myself, Dre, aka Dre on Wells, and my guy Brian B, for coming through here on the 11:30 podcast, man. Definitely make sure you subscribe, man, for real. Yo, it's man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels, and I'm out.